Try not to look at it. All right, this is on. We're rocking and rolling. All right. Hey everyone, we've got Matty B in the building.
What's up?
He's gonna come in and we're gonna have a chat with him, talk about football, talk about life, just have that growth mindset going on. So, Matty B, appreciate you coming through.
Anything for you, mate?
So, hey man, look, first off, tell us about how you grew up, and we'll go from there.
How I grew up?
Yep.
Well, I'm from the northern suburbs of Melbourne, Thomastown to be exact. I grew up as the youngest of four siblings. Mum and dad, and yeah, I had a really blessed childhood in terms of my mum and dad, and their love, and also my siblings and their love, and giving you every opportunity to succeed, whether that be in school or sport or making friends or typical social engagement with others. Like some parents I know are a little bit more stricter with others and seeing people, but I was always blessed with being able to not do whatever I want, but my parents were happy to drive me here and drive me there and take me to trainings and and then I think it was because I was the youngest that they had already trialed the methods on the other three, that when it got to me they kind of was just a bit more relaxed, which is great because I got sort of also to learn from my siblings because I was watching them all the time. So yeah, I feel really lucky and blessed for all of my childhood because of who I got to look up to.
Yeah. So you grew up with two older siblings, right?
Three.
Three older siblings, and they were a big influence on your football. Actually, I should have mentioned before tracking back. So you grew up like that, but overall, who are you, Matty B? What do you do? Who are you? What do you do? I know that. Tell the people what you do.
Okay. I'm Matty Belbasis. I'm a footballer, football coach, personal trainer, fitness coach, all of the above. I'm a great son. I'm a great friend.
Yeah.
I'm an uncle. I'm a nephew. I'm a grandson. I'm all these things to people that are important to my life. But ultimately, just a mad cunt.
He is mad cunt.
I'm just someone who loves life and does their best as they can with everything every day. That's how I'd describe myself.
And this is why people love you. This is why I hang out with Matty B. He's just all about it. And cool. All right, so you grew up with three siblings, mom, and tell me more about sport. Your football.
Sport?
Yeah.
I'll talk you through my sport as a whole and then delve into footy specifically throughout it. So I started playing sport when I was 5 or 6. The first sport I remember doing was little athletics. So
yeah.
Track and field as a 6-year-old, maybe it was earlier. Track and field was probably the best sport to start with, because the biggest lesson I learnt on that, and which was reinforced by my dad, was you've got yourself to measure yourself against. Every event that you do, whether that was a 60-meter run, a 60-meter sprint, or a long jump, or hurdles, or whatever, you get a ticket, and the ticket has your name and what you got and the date, and you stick it in your book, right? You glue stick it in your book, and then you have that event as a page, and and then the next time you do that event, you stick your ticket in, and it was a good like lesson, because like now we have like the apps and the technology to record your data and stuff like that, but as a kid, when you see that personal best or what you got for that event, it's really cool, because it's like your own little scrapbook, and it was very measurable, and yeah, it just taught you a really important lesson early on. And I was pretty like talented, meaning I was one of the quickest, and like would win a lot of my events early on as a little athletics competitor, and that gave me like a lot of confidence and a lot of like belief in myself as an athlete, because like I was a winner, you know. And then coinciding that, I started footy when I was around 7 years old, and to be honest, like I never really warmed to footy like straight away, because my oldest brother was he was like the footballer, like he had like more of the talent, you may say, like early on. And so like I always just felt like, oh, I just was doing this sport because of him, and because like I needed to sort of love it like him and be obsessed with it like him and train hard like him and love it as much as he did. It just didn't come naturally, you know. So from 7, 8 and 9 years old, footy was like, I was doing it, but I wasn't like in love with it, you know. My sister played basketball as well, which I would go to trainings and muck around with trainings. So those were the main three, like footy, track and field, which I was the strongest at. Football, which I didn't love it, but I did it. And then basketball, which I was like not officially playing, but I was doing it. This was all between the ages of like 6 and 9. So I got into like state relay championships and won like gold medals and stuff like that with my team, Diamond Valley, in little athletics. And then when you sort of graduate from tackers, they call it, or under 9s, you go into under 10s, and that was me going to footy. And that's where I really started to blossom. Not really started to blossom, but I started to show that I was a good player. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm good at this sport. Because I was like getting like, I won like 3 best and fairest from the ages of like 10 to 13. So 3 out of 4 years, I won 3 best and fairest. And yeah, I was like, oh, fuck, I am good at footy. I still don't love it as much as I thought I should, or was being pressured to love it like my brother, but I was good at it. And whilst I was also competing in footy, I sort of gave little athletics away. Maybe I thought that I had my success in that. And then I went to basketball. So then it turned from track and field and footy to footy and basketball. And I loved basketball, and I was a good basketball player. I always felt like, because it was a shorter distance on the basketball court, like I could make more explosive efforts, whereas footy is longer. So, and like I still feel like this today, footy's a longer field, and it always felt like I wasn't as explosive on the footy field that I was on the basketball court. Anyway, I loved basketball and played from like 11 to 16, and I was still doing footy at the same time. And then, so I was sort of, you know, getting my individual accolades as a junior from 10 to 13 with football, playing basketball, and then from 14 to 16, I was figuring it all out. What do I like more? Do I like basketball more, or do I like footy more? By no means was I getting selected in representative, like state teams or, you know, high. Like I was a representative basketballer, and I got close to playing representative footy, but I was never like in that bracket of like heading towards elite level at either of the sports. And I got to the age of 16, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm done with basketball. And me and my brother had a pretty solid relationship. We still do, but more so at that point because I would see the way he trained and like how hard he worked, and that I was like intrigued by that because I wanted to work hard with him, like go for extra running and do boxing and like do extra touch and handballs and all this sort of stuff that he was doing as a senior player or to get himself as a senior player at his level. And I was like, oh, this is cool, you know, because it was like a bonding with my brother. And from 16 onwards is when I really started to just focus a little bit more on footy. Obviously you got school and stuff as well, but I was never like told I was talented or anything like that. My one wood or my strength that I always got told from other people was like my repeat effort and my competitiveness. Like it was never like my skills, like or my kicking or my ability to mark or anything like that, which is why I've worked really hard at that or like really put a focus on that because I never got the accolades for those talented or gifted naturally or skilled stuff. So I made sure that when I did focus on footy, I made sure like I worked on my kicking. I got given different technique advice or fucking 8 different coaches and kept on evolving it. I keep on evolving it to this day at 27 years old. So yeah, that's as detailed as I could probably think of right now as to my childhood and sport and footy specifically. Obviously 16 years and old and upwards of that with footy is another chapter. But that's how all of those sports interrelated to get me to 16 and above.
So, because I know a lot of like football athletes, they also played basketball as well, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because of the hands, the coordination, not so much the kicking, but there's a lot of basketball players who transition into football.
Yeah.
So, if there's something that you should know about Matty B, is that he is determined, tenacious, a word that he loves to hear. To hear about himself, and just the overall hard worker. I think you've got a bit of a chip on your shoulder, don't you? Because
with what?
Just not being seen as like the talented person, or you know the first one to be selected. You've always had to work hard.
Yeah.
For it, and that's admirable. And I honestly, man, like I feel really the same. Like all we know is just hard work and grit.
Yeah.
That's just to tough it out. It's a good skill, and you can see a lot of talented players. They don't have that sometimes. And you've probably seen them in the past where like they're only selected just purely on their talent. So that's a big part of your personality. So we move on. So
I do want to say something on that.
What?
Like the chip on the shoulder thing. And I think like definitely in the time that we've become mates of really good friends, best friends in the past 5 years, I can see why it looks like I got a chip on my shoulder, or like I feel like I have had a chip on my shoulder with that, what you just said, like, oh, they don't think I'm talented enough, or I'll show them with hard work.
Yeah.
But what I've really like grown in the last 12 months, I reckon, specifically like the last 6 to 8 months, is letting go of that like,
It's still playing. It's the battery.
Letting go of that like, oh, chip on your shoulder mentality of like, oh, I'll show them.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up. Like, you know, just shut up like about that. Like, this is me conversation to myself. Let it go. Like, no one's conspiring against you. No one's looking down on you. And even if they are, who cares? You know, you're doing this because you love it. You're doing the 5 running in the off season. You're doing 5 running sessions because you love it. You're doing 7 skill sessions because you love it. You're doing all your gym work because you love it. You're doing all your vision because you love it. You're doing everything for your football and for your life because you love it and enjoy it. There's no got to prove this person, got to get these, got to do this best on ground, got to do this because ABC, you know. It's just because I fucking enjoy it and like I just love it, and that's where I want to come from more of. Like, don't get me wrong, like you still have those patterns of thoughts come up of like, oh, he got selected over me, or they don't rate me, and oh, I'll show them, and that stuff still comes up. But like, I guess it comes down to what motivates you and what lights you up. But I think that humans are strong. Human beings are the strongest when they're coming from a place of love. You know, and if I can tap into that love more, then I'm going to enjoy it more, and I'm also going to get better reward, because it's like I'm not coming from a place of like little resentful rat who's got a chip on his shoulder. I'm coming from a place of like love and energized and light and just like, let's go and learn along the way, you know. And I really like, Dean, like we haven't probably been as close this year because you haven't played footy. Like previous years, so we haven't talked much about footy, but that's probably the one biggest growth area in me that you haven't been as observant of, because we haven't hung out as much this year. But definitely, man, like that's evolved in me. Like, yeah,
bro. Yeah, exactly. Because I haven't seen that side of you yet in the past, like 6 months. But I know from the past 5 years before that, like you've always been like, oh, I've got to get, you know, got to get 100 kicks in. It's got to hit the chest.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 1 meter, 30 centimeters away, then it's not good enough. And you know, you've been like relentless. Would go in for like our morning training sessions. Would do a lot of tackle drills. Would push each other over. Like, would get so. Like we get so frustrated and heated when things were not perfect, because we felt like that we need to work so hard in order to progress ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's the side that I know, but you're saying that you've evolved.
Evolved in the sense of like you can still work hard,
but
come from a place of love versus frustration and tenseness and stress.
Is it a waste of energy?
Yeah, that's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
Because you can still get better without breaking your balls about it. And I think maybe like I needed to go through that, like stress and anxiety and everything's got to be perfect mentality to like really learn. Obviously this could go really deep and really long, but basically it's like every training session, every skill session, every run, if you come from a place, it sounds hippie, but if you come from a place of love, you're still going to get better, and you're still going to get better, and you're still going to grow, and you're going to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to make it more your career and your life as an athlete, longevity, you know, versus being tense and stressed the whole time. Okay, the dog.
Yeah, good dog. Good dog.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. So you learn to chill out a little bit more.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Let go. Let go.
Yeah.
If me progressing, if this was the ball of magic that makes me progress, I was hanging on to it saying, please make me progress, when all I need to do is let go and just trust it's going to help me progress.
And then that's taken a lot of stress and energy out of your head, when you can focus on just being present, more in the moment, and just letting it flow. Hey.
Yeah.
Because do you feel like that you're a better footballer?
I'm in career best form at the moment.
Since adopting that mindset?
Yeah, career best form at the moment. Getting the ball more, making better decisions, using it better. Hard at the contest, still hard at the contest. Enjoying it, being a good leader. And like excited because I still feel like there's so much more growth. I'd stop playing when I feel like there's no more growth to have. So I just can't see that happening.
No such thing, man.
Yeah.
I know.
Which is the exciting thing. Like, it's got so much more growth, and that's what keeps me excited keep playing, keep getting better.
Mm.
And, you know, like, I was saying this to one of my other close friends the other day. Like, I've been a hard worker for so long, and everyone's known me as the hard worker. But I
Getting in the hours.
Yeah, I really only feel like because my form has shown it this year, like a lot of my teammates and stuff like that look to me as like to do extras and they just it's like my brand now. But it's not in like a toxic, you've got to work hard way. It's like in a, you want to work hard, come to me, like, because I'm all about it and I'll still be about it and I'm always going to be about it. But in a relaxed, chill, good vibe way, not in a hectic, like, you've got to do 100 kicks at this chest way, like we used to be. Probably I'm the reason why you stopped playing footy this year.
Man, yeah, it's not fun to be around.
Yeah, no.
But we did it from a good place, man, because that's all we knew.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we knew.
Exactly.
So, man, that's crazy. But all right, so let's take a step back. So that's how you grew up, and tell me more about what's been happening, let's say after 21.
21.
You know, after 21, like getting in from.
Do you want the 17 to 21 years old bracket?
There's not much. I thought there'd be not much difference.
No, there's a big difference. Yeah.
All right.
So 16 is when I started taking footy seriously.
Yeah.
Stopped playing basketball.
Yeah.
Still keeping it sport relevant, yeah?
Yeah.
17, I started, I was playing under 19s at my home club, West Preston. And it was at 17 where I got my first senior game. And I played a block of, I think, 4 games in my first 19s year. And that was when the ignition started. Like, oh shit, I can play, you know? Because before that, I was all juniors. Like, I never had like a representative junior team that I played in. I never really had any coach vouch for me. I never had like anyone really say you can be something in footy. But me getting selected in seniors that game and the way I played and the feedback that I got, I was like, oh shit, I can be something here. This was 10 years ago. And yeah, like from there I was like, we won under 19s that year. We won the premiership because the seniors didn't play finals. So I played in my block of senior games and went back and played 19s, won the grand final. And then the next 3 years after that, so 2014, 15, 16, was 18 to 21. I think I had like 2 broken bones, 1 broken tendon, or 1 snapped tendon, and 4 broken bones and 1 snapped tendon and a knee ligament injury. So I had probably something like a year's worth of injury across, like 52 weeks of injuries across 5 injuries in 3 years. So it was like, all of a sudden I've got all this belief, all this energy, all this drive from 18 to 21, and I believe in myself to keep going with footy. But I just had like 5 long-term injuries in like essentially in a row. Like I still played, but it was like interspersely. So that was really, really challenging and shaped my character to be able to train through injury and recover myself mentally. And like, I think I had like 4 surgeries out of those 5 injuries. So imagine like 4 surgeries from 18 to 21. All you want to do is keep getting better and you feel like you're getting held back. So, yeah, it was like really good and really like shaped who I was in terms of like my resilience and my ability to keep bouncing back and keep getting up. And then after that, after my biggest one of those injuries, the broken arm, I got myself a VFL training opportunity at Werribee because I was just practicing so much at North Melbourne, who they were then aligned with, that their recruiting manager saw me training and was like, "Oh, do you want to come and trial?" So it was like, you know, really good timing, good right place, right time, and then I ended up getting selected on their list, and that was my first representative opportunity at a VFL club, just because I was training at Arden Street so much on my own. And yeah, I was just like so grateful for that, and I played there for a year. I played like 7 development league games. I had a year away from West Preston at Keilor, so I was aligned with Keilor whilst I was at Werribee. And yeah, it was like my first year back in 2017, like consistently through the whole year, where I got to actually play like 10, 12, I think I played 15 games that year. And I was like, oh, all this practice that I've been doing whilst I've been injured and stuff like that, I'm actually putting to use. And it was ripper. It was great. And then, I was 22 at this stage, and then I had another year, I had another pre-season at Werribee, but I got cut from them, and that was 2018. So I got cut from them, went back to West Preston as a senior player. Played in a premiership there, played all senior games, 22 senior games. Played in a premiership there. After I got cut from Werribee, I went to Perth to trial for a week, but I was pretty scared to travel across to Western Australia to live, like as a 22-year-old. So I stayed in Melbourne and played seniors at West. And then from there, I travelled to Sydney to live in 2019. I made a NEFL squad at Sydney Uni. NEFL's like the VFL equivalent back then.
Yeah.
And then I got games with like the Swans reserves. I got games with the Giants reserves. I didn't play a Sydney Uni NEFL game. I was emergency half a dozen times. But yeah, then I played for a local team up there. So I played for like 4 different teams in 1 year in 2019, and that was another really good year. Obviously at this stage, like I've still got my mentality of like, got to get better. We had a friendship that was long distance, and we were talking every week about how we're getting better. 2020 was COVID, so like most seasons were written off. I only played 6 games in the local league in Sydney because the NEFL was cancelled. I made their list again though, which I was really wrapped with, but unfortunately there was no season. And then, what else? And then from there, it was 2021. I went to Adelaide with an opportunity to trial for North Adelaide, made their list. Wasn't rated by the coaches, so I didn't play any reserves games there or any games at all at North Adelaide, so I just played the local league in Adelaide. At that stage, I was still sending out videotapes 3, 4, 5 years in a row to AFL clubs, and Brisbane were a team that showed some interest through their reserves team. And so I went up there and met their development coach and talked to them about the opportunity. So I moved to Queensland, did a little mentorship with a coach in the Sunshine Coast, who's got a footy coaching business, which I loved, and work for now. And then from there, I went to the Gold Coast to align myself with Labrador in the QAFL. And the plan was to get looked at in the QAFL by Brisbane, and then hopefully get an opportunity to play with them. And then from there, like my dad had cancer through 2020 and 2021, so his cancer progressed in 2022 when I was in Gold Coast. So I moved back home from there, supported my family last year whilst that was happening, his illness was happening, and played at West Preston again. He got sick, passed away, played the rest of the year at West, and then, you know, when a parent passes away, I'm not looking to get on a plane and go interstate again. So I thought I'll stay in Melbourne, trial for a VFL team, which I didn't make it, and then committed to West Preston for this year, and that's currently where I'm playing at the moment. So that's 17 to now, 10 years.
Bro, like that's a lot to dissect, man. Like I think overall, Because I know you as a really close friend. Like, you've been through hell and back, man.
Yeah.
Like, you've gone to play not only in Melbourne,
Yeah.
but you've gone to Queensland, you've gone to Sydney, you've gone to Adelaide,
Yeah.
and not Perth. Though you're considering it.
I went there to
Oh, you went-
trial
oh,
for a
you-
week.
I went. He even went to Perth. Yeah.
For a week.
Yeah, 4 weeks. So you've been all really across the whole Australia
Yeah.
to chase this dream of football,
Yeah.
which
It's pretty
is
funny when you
which
say
is
it like that.
admirable. And I know that there's been a lot of problems arising with coaches and not being rated and trying to learn how to navigate that.
Yeah.
And then also with your dad passing away,
Yeah.
who had a big influence on you, which is probably the reason why you got into sport in the first place.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in. So, how have you been able to bounce back
Yeah.
from everything? Because it's a lot, and there's a lot of, because I know you were trying to come in and out of places, and it's hard to build that stability. So how did you adapt? How did you tell me how you juggled everything? Because life as a footballer, you need consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. As in,
Yeah.
like, moving states.
Yeah, moving states, trying to balance your training.
Training.
Yeah, and just everything popping
Parents, dad's sick and passing away.
up.
And,
Yeah,
coaches not rating you and everything mixed together.
everything mixed together. Because I know that like you'd call me and just lot's been happening, man. So how have you, in reflection, because now it's been
Been
a
a
bit,
cooler period.
yeah, it's been a cooler period now.
Actually, I don't really think about this. I don't think about this a lot, how I got through it. I think I got the answer. Actually, I do have the answer. What got me through it was looking at it like the opportunity was there and making the most of that opportunity and believing in that opportunity. And even when it didn't go exactly to plan, it was just that excitement and the energy that I gave to the opportunity that got me through, regardless of the external circumstances. So it was like the first city I moved to was Sydney. I first moved to Perth and I sent out emails and I got a trial with Perth. And it was like, I didn't take it. I went and trained, but I was probably nervous that I was going to get cut again. I had a job in Melbourne that I wanted to do, and I was just like, I'm not going to move to WA, it's too far. So I came back. So then from there, it was like the next one was Sydney, and I moved there, and I was excited to move there. I wasn't even planning on trialing for the NEFL, but I emailed them within a week of going there, and I made their list. And when I made their list, I was like, fuck, that was easy. Because they literally put me on trial and they didn't give me any feedback, but they gave me a contract. And I just always just was excited by what was in front of me, And then it was like, when I was in Sydney that first year, my dog got sick, my grandpa got sick, and so I was traveling back to Melbourne to be there for family and stuff as well. And whilst all that was happening, it was hard, and you're managing a lot and keeping on needing to training and stuff like that. But I think because I don't reckon I enjoy training like I do now, but because I enjoyed training and I enjoy getting better, coincided with the team that I was with, the opportunity there, it always just drove me forward. I just always learned to manage it, and it was frustrating because sometimes I would think can't my family just handle this one on their own? But I wouldn't have it any other way than being there for them either, because that's who I am. My family is who I am. They make up who I am. And then I've gone out to the world and got additional parts. So they'll always be there. They'll always be who I am, So I'm always going to be there for them regardless, And then from there, it was like, righto, COVID was happening, so everyone was kind of going through that shit, And it was a bit of a chill period with my personal life. Like no one was getting sick in the family and stuff. So that was like, all right, I'm just going to continue to train and get better regardless of the organised sport or not, because I enjoy training and like it helps that I'm a personal trainer. So I always had like my mind ticking over about what's the best way to train and what's the best running and what's the best this. And then when I went to Adelaide and wasn't getting like was really down and out about how I wasn't getting picked or even looked at, I don't know, I remember we used to talk a lot about that.
Yeah, man, because like especially within like Adelaide and not selected, though, it's tough. Like life as a footballer, you don't have a lot of control with a lot of things with selection because you have like 25 guys competing for spots, and you're trying to build that relationship with the coach and also trying to work on your football.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man. Like it's tough. Like when you told me about like with Adelaide and like not being selected for it, and you felt that there was a bit of favoritism or going on, or like they just wouldn't take you seriously. Like, and you were trying as well. You were being very proactive. It's not like you were in the corner being like, oh, you know, having a sulk and not crying. Like you were going to the coaches, giving your film, saying, hey, look, I need feedback on this, let me know. Yeah. You're showing that you were proactive.
Yeah, it was.
But they still wasn't really feeling you.
Yeah.
That's very like that. That's hard, man. It's easy to think right now, like, oh, yep, you know, just push through, and you know, we had a lot of fun, have a lot of fun with it, enjoyed growing. But when you're in that space, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Like, bro, tell me about that, man.
That year was, it was weird. It was really weird. Like, cause I probably let footy determine my mood a lot. I let footy determine my mood a lot, but I'm not sure. Like I said before about the excitement of the opportunity, and that's what drove me forward. It was like they weren't picking me, but I was still going to a training at a semi-professional environment. So I felt like I was getting better every week, and that was like enough excitement for me to be like, I'm still going to put my tapes together and show the coaches. You know, I'm still going to put myself out there and be like, hey, like, this is what I'm doing. Like, what do you think? Anything else? You know, give me feedback, blah, blah, blah. And even though I wasn't feeling appreciated or respected or valued or like taken seriously. Yeah. I mean, I guess the lesson that I wanted to learn from that is like, in face of all of that, not feeling XYZ appreciated, valued, I'm still going to do what I believe is right and what I'd want to see from a player that wasn't getting selected if I was in their position. Because if there was a player that I had written off, right, as a coach, and then they took that energy from me and showed care and love and, hey, like, what do you think? Like, what else do I need to do? Fuck, man, I would love it. Because as a coach, you know, I'd love it. And that's kind of like, what do these guys want from me? What can I do to sort of show them that I still care and I'm, you know, professional? And I think they recognize that. They still didn't pick me. So at least I could leave that club even after I got cut, knowing like I did everything in my power that I knew of that time. Because I remember saying to myself that year, if no one else is going to vouch for me, I'll vouch for myself. Like if no one's going to advocate for me, like my local coach wasn't pressing them to give me a game or anything. I don't think he was. If no one's going to vouch for me or advocate for me, I'll advocate for myself. And that's just a lesson that I think is valuable for everyone in any industry of anywhere. You know, like don't be a dick, don't be an asshole about it. Like put other people down and stuff like that. But like I specifically remember them saying like, this is the way we want to move the ball, boys, at team training, at semi-professional training. So when I go back to local, I made sure that I was trying to move the ball or doing movements with my kicking and so forth, that was moving the ball in that way. Defensively, this is what we want to do, X, Y, Z. So defensively, I would clip parts of my game that would align with what they were saying. And like I was just like, I've got to get creative in how I get in this team. Yeah. So it wasn't like I was disappointed and feeling like rejected and stuff, but I turned that disappointment into like, I've still got an opportunity, I'm still at the club, I've still got a chance. Even until the last round where they told me that we're going to give you a game and then they didn't, fuck, I cried. I cried. I think I remember calling you after that.
Yeah.
I cried and I was hurt and stuff like that. Like, because they literally said, we're going to give you a game. And then they said, we're not going to give you a game because we've got 18-year-olds we want to give the game to. Right? Yeah. Not dissimilar to your story a year after.
Yeah, I know.
So I was like, as soon as that last round was done, I was like a little bit relieved because I'm like, all right, I can stop fucking trying now, like to get in. They're going to cut me. And then I just looked for another opportunity. And the Brisbane Lions and Queensland opportunity came up and that excited me. So that excited me to move from Adelaide to the Queensland. And all of this was happening while COVID was still around and state borders and stuff were happening. And for some reason, I always found a way to get across a border when there wasn't rules, or even when there was rules. Yeah, bro. So I don't know. To answer your question in short, I always found something exciting in an opportunity to drive me forward, regardless of the chaos around me. You know, the chaos being like family sick, family passing away, you know, COVID restrictions and borders closing and coaches not rating you and getting dropped or getting not selected and all of these things that kick people in the guts and have them down and out. I was just trying to reshape my mind to be like, all right, what's next, or what's an opportunity I can look at this situation in and be excited by that, which would keep me training and keep me going. Yeah. So that's the best answer I've got for that question.
Yeah, that's 100. So always vouch for yourself.
Always vouch for yourself.
Look at the positives of the chaos.
Yeah, look for the positives in the chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really something that you've been doing like for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Just knowing you and believing, as cliche as it sounds, like believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Because if no one will, like you need to, and if you don't feel that you're up there,
yeah,
like you'll never be that. Like for example, like I remember, like whether it's you wanting to play VFL or me wanting to play a senior game or me getting into the reserves game, like if you're always thinking that you'll always be a reserves player and you'll never get to seniors, you're gonna stay as a reserves player. And so always positively reinforcing yourself, like, you know, you're really good at this, man, and I probably adopted it from you. You're like always sending these mantras into your head every time you wake up. I'm a senior player. I'm a senior player. I'm a senior player. Or I'm a VFL player. I'm a VFL player. I'm a VFL player. And manifesting that is so important because there's a lot you can't control in a team sport.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So you need to control yourself. Need to control what thoughts come into your head, and put in that effort, man.
Yeah. I think the controlling your thoughts in your head is huge.
It's huge, yeah.
And like, you know, when footy's not going well or money's not going well or relationships aren't going well, like all these different subjects of your life, like if it's too difficult to control your thoughts positively in those areas, then find something that you can control easily positive with your thoughts. And like, so for me, part of like me talking about before about being more relaxed and coming from a place of love is literally going back to those simple things. Like I'm grateful for the oxygen that I breathe in, grateful for the water, the clean water we have, grateful for food that's pretty much available abundantly in our society, grateful for my friendships and my family, grateful for this couch that we're sitting on, this pillow that gives me some comfort. Like it literally comes back to just being grateful for everything you have in the moment or everything that you've had in the past and even things in the future, because that's stuff that doesn't have resistance like in your thoughts. It's like, oh, you just got dropped from the reserves. how can you say to yourself, I'm a senior player? Like, it's really fucking hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can you say to yourself, I'm an AFL superstar when you're playing seniors at West Preston, me right now? It's really hard. But when you take, all right, just a break from those thoughts, you start being positive about the pillow, you start being positive about your best mate, start being positive about the free water, you start being positive about food, start being positive about everything easy. That will flow into money, into AFL superstar, flow into work and having really good clients that, you know, having like a really good job that pays you well. All the positive thoughts will filter through other areas when you focus on the really easy, simple things. You know? So yeah, like I love when you said like controlling your thoughts, because we do need to control our thoughts.
You do, man.
But when they feel uncontrollable, break it down into as simple as you can.
And show gratitude.
And that will help with the bigger, more intense things. Yeah.
100, man. That's nothing more needs to be said. So, Matty B, what are your plans, man, for the future, bro? Like, where are you headed? Tell the people where you're headed.
Hot damn, sweaty. What are my plans?
Yeah.
My plans. I got like asked like about like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that, and some of the mentality that I've shared today, I started learning about it like before the new year. So when people were like, "Oh, what are New Year's resolutions?" I literally said something like, "I'm just gonna focus on the simple good things every day," and that's what I've been doing. And I think that's what I'm gonna continue to do. Like, of course, I have like expectations and the vision of like.
Well, what is it, bro?
Well, playing AFL.
Yeah.
And running out there on the MCG.
Yeah.
And in a Collingwood jumper.
Collingwood?
Yeah, because I love watching them play at the moment.
Wow, this girl's a Carlton fan.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
I don't know any Carlton supporter who would go for Collingwood team.
Well, the way they're vibing right now, I love it. And so like I have those visions. I have visions of like, you know, having a property in Carlton North and like having like the money to support that, and having the money to like support and help my family, and having a really successful fitness business, and continuing with my footy coaching, and everything that I'm doing now is what I love. You know, I'm playing, I'm coaching, I'm you know, healthy, and I want to just continue that. You know, I just want to continue that, and obviously take it to another level in all areas. So that's all like the vision. But in the meantime, it's like focus on the simple good things, man. Okay. Like, even when you're an hour and a half late today, I'm like, all right, how do I flip this? How do I flip?
Footy film.
How do I flip it? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do something on my laptop.
Yeah. I'm
gonna go easy with Dean. Like
Bro, it wasn't an hour and a half, bro. It was only half an hour. Last night I said 10:30.
No.
And then I came like I said 10:30, and then no, it was about an hour, bro. An hour.
You said 10.
An hour.
You said 10 initially, and then you.
No, but I gave you way more notice.
Anyway. So like little stuff like that, like when someone is late that you're catching up with, like go easy on them. Like it's not going to be the end of the fucking world. Yeah. Whereas previously I'd rip your head off, you know.
Yeah, fact. Why are you fucking late? You wasted 2 minutes.
You're legit, like 2 minutes. Like
why
seriously.
Are you late? I know, bro.
So yeah, bro, just be Get my goals here and now. Focus on the simple good things. Go easy and love the people most important to me, and then keep growing and keep evolving. That's where I'm going. That's where Matty Boy is going.
See, like if I had to talk with you like a year ago, you'd say, "Oh, you know, AFL, this." But now I can see like that you've matured a lot and you're more flowy with things and starting small and focusing on like the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because all that will come if you just place less pressure on yourself. Because I can see, man, instantly that you're placing a lot less pressure on yourself and you're starting to play better because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Like we were talking to one of my teammates last week, and we're talking about like imagery and visualization and stuff, and we're talking about if you do that. I'm like, yeah, I do that like before a game. I do it actually all week interspersely.
Yeah.
And like, oh, don't you get mental burnout from it? And like previously, maybe would have if I was visualizing the game, because I would be like tense about it. Like, got to do this in my visualization and blah, blah, blah. But like now, I'm just like, nah, I just get excited. Like touching the ball 77 times on the field, get 77 touches for this game, and I'm visualizing it all week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just exciting. Like, because think about it, like we talk about imagery and visualization. It's just using your imagination. And we did that as kids so naturally, right? And it was fun. It's not like we said to ourselves, got to do 10 minutes of imagination as a kid, as a 5-year-old.
I know. Just got to push through it.
Yeah.
Spend half an hour
like
on
what
it.
the fuck's that? Like, no, like I'm going to make it natural. Like I still listen to some music and stuff when I do it.
Yeah.
Like imagination or visualization, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I just get excited by it because I'm like, fuck, it's like I'm living a different, like another reality that's coming my way, and just trusting that it's coming my way because that's the laws of the universe or whatever you want to call it. And it's like, yeah, I'm definitely more relaxed and playing better for it and performing better for it and happier for it, and just probably healthier for it as well because I'm less stressed. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that, and like, yeah, just want to continue that, because definitely like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I was like down in the dumps because I was feeling the grief of my dad and stuff, but I like wrote myself out of that as well, and kept on this attitude. So yeah.
100, man. So it's a bit hype man Dean, hype man Maddie. What are you gonna give the people, man? Some advice.
Some advice?
Yeah, man. Just give if you had to give some one advice. I mean, there's a lot of gems in there, right?
Yeah.
What's your number one advice you'd give to people going through a bit of a rut?
Yeah. Don't focus on all the flowers that haven't bloomed yet when you need to focus on the flowers that have already bloomed. So what that means is, like, I think I learned that phrase somewhere, or that saying somewhere, but if you're worried so much about the things that are yet to come, where you forget about everything you do have already, you're gonna be miserable. So focus on those really good things whilst the other things are happening anyway. You know, those flowers are still gonna bloom, but you may as well smell what you've got, smell the roses that you've got right now. So essentially just be grateful for everything you have in this very moment. And fuck me, there's like 1,000 things off the top of my head for every single person in Melbourne I could think of right now. Do you know what I mean?
Facts, man.
Like there's 100 things in this room I could think of right now.
Yeah.
All you got to do is put and like obviously mental health's a really hard topic, and you know everyone's got their opinion and whatever, and science, but like if you just take some breaths and just literally be grateful for that plant, and be grateful for that painting, and be grateful for this couch, be grateful for your lungs, be grateful for your heart, be grateful for your liver, be grateful for your legs that can walk, or if they can't walk, be grateful for your arms that can move. If they can't move, be grateful that you can still breathe through your nose. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many things we could tap into with being grateful for, or smelling the roses that we currently have, that can take the pressure off the past and the future that we so often go to. Smell the roses.
Smell the roses,
people
that we have right now.
Yeah.
Show gratitude.
Yeah.
Thankful for friendship. Thankful for this house. Yeah, man. I feel you, man.
Clothes on your back.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in it, man. It's so
Yeah.
easy. You can be like, oh man, I'm so sad. I'm bummed out. I don't have this. I'm not there yet.
Mm.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
No, that was good. I
Yeah.
love that, man.
Yeah.
Real
What?
real shit, man. Real
Yeah.
shit. All right, man. Look, we'll wrap it up. If the people want to find you, where can they find you? Give them everything.
All right. So my Instagram is Breaking Limits Maddie. Breaking Limits Maddie. Follow me. Send me a DM. Engage in my content if you like. Happy for you to do that, and then take it from there. Maybe we can grab a coffee or have a chat or whatever. Happy to network and grow with others that are thinking the similar things or have evolutions of what the things that I've said right now, or even an argument in different areas, so we can challenge each other to grow. It's all about growth for me. So if you want a bit of that, hit me up.
Australian of the Year. All about growth.
Yeah, legit.
No, done.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Alright.
Good shit.
Dickhead.